All right, Dana. Well, the last time we had a sit-down interview like this, it was probably over 3 years ago. We were in the old office.
Right.
Since then, we've got a new headquarters. We were sold, and we now have a partnership with ESPN. The partnership with ESPN kicked off January 1st of 2019. That was a new deal, and 3 months later, there's another new deal with ESPN. Can you sort of elaborate on the details of that?
Yeah, so right out the gate, day one, these guys were incredible partners. And we're very aligned with them in that I believe in everything they're doing and the direction they're going in with the network. It's the same direction we're going in. So I say it all the time, everything in life is about timing, and the timing couldn't be better for us to be with ESPN. So, these guys came in, kicked the tires, looked under the hood, they liked what they saw, and now we're gonna go with them with everything. Pay-per-view is gonna be with them. The fights that we're doing on ESPN Plus and ESPN Linear.
Dana, obviously this new pay-per-view deal with ESPN is massive. How does this impact the fans?
Oh, it's incredible for the fans. When you think about it, this is an exclusive deal. We are exclusively with ESPN, right? So these guys are when we were with everybody, we couldn't even offer discounts on pay-per-view and things like that. You'd have to get the approval of all these different groups.
Right.
Now it's a one-stop shop. ESPN's gonna be able to bundle ESPN plus the pay-per-views, and it's not all worked out exactly how it's gonna go down, but this is amazing for UFC fans. They're gonna be able to get so much more value out of the fights, whether it's ESPN Plus or pay-per-view, now with everything being with ESPN. We did this because this is good for everybody. It's good for us, it's good for the fighters, and it's absolutely positively incredible for the fans. And people will get nervous about this whole streaming thing. I hate to break it to you guys, but streaming is where everything is going. So if you have Netflix, you have Hulu, you have any of this stuff at home, that's basically what ESPN Plus is. You get it the same exact way as Netflix and these other streaming services. It's exactly the same.
And that's how they'll get their pay-per-views.
Exactly. And like I said, the value is gonna be better for everything that you've been paying for the last almost 20 years. And now with what we're doing on UFC Fight Pass, I'm gonna be doing so much incredible content that has to do with all different types of fighting and unbelievable stuff with MMA. So between us and ESPN, there's never been a better time to be a fan. And we had a 5-year deal with them. Now we have a 7-year deal. And Ari Emanuel and I just signed a new 7-year deal too. So we're here for 7 years. ESPN's here for 7 years. And the incredible things that we're gonna work on, I just can't even tell you how pumped I am for all of this stuff.
And we are in Las Vegas, which 777s, that means you win a lot of money. You signed for 7 years, Ari signed for 7 years, and the ESPN deal 7 years.
That's pretty crafty.
That seems like a
yeah.
good look for us.
Yeah, not bad. But like I said, it couldn't have been better timing. Everything worked out perfect. And for a company that wouldn't cover us years ago, now they love us so much. It's awesome. And for somebody like me who's been here since day one, it's all sort of surreal. But this is what we always dreamed of. We're doing, what I always believed we could do and what I hope someday we would do. And it's everything me and every UFC fan has ever dreamed of, and every fighter.
Yeah, you mentioned the fighters. How does this impact them?
Let me put it to you this way. I was on the treadmill in the gym this morning, and literally they ran a 4.5-minute piece on Darren Till, and the coverage that they're giving fighters, the exposure that these fighters are getting. And let's be honest, nobody does it better than ESPN does. When they dive in and do a piece on somebody, it's incredible. And the promotion that they've done for the UFC in certain fights already. If you looked at the first big fight we really did on ESPN Plus was Dillashaw and Cejudo, and you couldn't get away from that fight. So. Yeah. This is gonna be a whole nother level of exposure for these fighters. What we do with these guys in the next 7 years is gonna be ridiculous.
Would you say that this has been the biggest thing to happen to the UFC, this ESPN deal?
Yeah, it's absolutely. A lot of big things have happened to us over the years, but once you make it to ESPN, that's when you know you've made it as a sport. And right now, if you look at our deal, where we're at, what we're doing, we're now one of the top 4 sports in the United States.
The Big Four has changed.
Exactly. The Big Four has changed. We are one of them.
You know, it's funny how the mood kind of shifts, right? Like there are super highs in organizations and then there are lows. And it seems like since the sale, which was a massive record-breaking sale in sports, that it almost took the media coverage towards a negative spin, which was surprising to a lot of people. I've got some headlines, if you don't mind if I read them to you. Some of these are I'm sure, going to get a reaction from you. Why the UFC is dying. Who cares about the UFC in 2018? The UFC ruined itself for $4 billion. Your good friend, Darren Ravel, he's always tweeting things about the company, but he's saying, sources say officials at WME IMG, which bought the UFC for $4 billion, never believed it would be that high, but $300 million a year is a significant drop. ESPN or pay-per-view, who will disappoint more in 2019? UFC played chicken with Fox and lost. 5 reasons the UFC is a ticking time bomb. The UFC's future isn't as bright as it seems. Dropping like flies, UFC losing talent. And instead of killing boxing, the UFC plans to use it as a lifeline.
Yeah, I always say, you can't believe anything that you read. First of all, anytime there's great success, it's surrounded by negativity. And, we live in this world today where the media, anybody who owns a website considers themselves media, and, you have people with agendas and people who know that negativity gets more clicks than positivity. But here's the reality. None of these people, none of the media people knows anything about this business. Today, just like the last almost 20 years, we have been the company and the driving force behind building this sport. And one of the things that we've done for the last 20 years is prove people wrong. It's what we've been doing. It's what we're really good at, proving people wrong. Nobody believes in this business more than I do. After the sale, I stayed on, and we've been working hard for the last 2.5 years to take this thing to the next level. I mean, that's why I'm here. I didn't stay here. It's not about money. It's not about any of that stuff. I don't care about any of that stuff. I like to win, and I like to take this thing to the next level, the next level, the next level, and it's what we've always done, and it's what we're going to continue to do. And the great thing about WME IMG, Ari's got his hands on a lot of different things, but he's super passionate about this sport and this brand. He loves it like I love it, and we're having a blast.
What's the relationship with Ari like?
I would say that the relationship with me and Ari, I do what I do over here. I have the vision for where the sport's going to go and what we're going to do and the different types of fights. And what Ari does is, Ari's the guy that can pick up the phone and get anybody on the phone. And Ari can raise money like this. And, the vision that this guy has too. We're walking down the hall one day, and this building is expensive. He's literally walking out, and he looks out the window and he says, "I want to buy that building next door." I said, "What? You want to buy that building next door? It's like 130,000 square feet." It's like, "Yeah, I want to buy that building." So Ari is not afraid to lay it on the line and go for it. And like when he and I got in business together, we talked earlier about all the negativity. I'll bet on me and Ari any day of the week. So it really is perfect business relationship. And if you think about where I was with the Fertitta brothers,
yeah.
And to leave that relationship and go into another relationship that's really good, I mean, it's almost impossible, especially when you talk about the egos and the money and, control and power and all the things that go along with a company like this. The relationship couldn't be better. And what I love about Ari is I love his aggressiveness. And, right now we just bought the building next door. The UFC Apex is the name of the new building. The
Excellent.
UFC Apex, which is 130,000 square feet. We came into this place and everybody was talking like they always do. What it costs to build this place, what it costs a month to run this place. We end up buying the building next door, 130,000 square feet, 5 more acres, which gives us 60 acres here that the UFC headquarters sits on. And we're building a state-of-the-art production studio over there. And just the control room there allows us to shoot in 4K and whatever format comes out in the future. And not only can we shoot original programming there on site, live fights, whatever, we can do it from anywhere in the world, from that control room across the street.
So you can do it remotely. Say there's a show somewhere in Asia, but you can cover those fights from the headquarters here in Las Vegas.
Exactly. Going live on ESPN, I have to go to another facility to do it. We can do live from ESPN or any other network from here. We can literally do anything production-wise from this building next door.
So how does that then expand how your imagination works, knowing, okay, we can actually do this?
There isn't anything we can't do. There's nothing that we can't do next door. Plus, the gym over there, we're building a gym which is going to be the extension of the PI. So Forrest is designing this gym over here like the PI. So we're able to take more fighters on.
Wow.
Let's say it's fight week and you have two fighters that are fighting each other that want to work out. One can go here, one can go there. The Ultimate Fighter is coming back this summer. Contender is coming back. Plus, I have a couple other shows I'm working on right now. And we are literally limited by my imagination right now. We can do whatever the hell I come up with, and we will.
We mentioned that we're expanding the footprint here in Las Vegas with the Performance Institute and now building this new campus, really.
Yeah.
But we've also got this Performance Institute opening in Shanghai that's going to be massive and really important over there. I know you want to open, I think, 3 in Mexico, 1 in Puerto Rico.
Yep.
How important is the Performance Institute to the growth of MMA and the UFC globally?
Yeah, no, it's incredible and it's very important. Think about the PI in China that we're opening right now. It'll open this summer. It's 3 times bigger than the one here, and the one here is massive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do 3 in Mexico, which will be smaller pop-up type ones, and I'm gonna do 1 in Puerto Rico. And then I'm gonna figure out how those do. We're gonna look at them and assess how it does, which I'm assuming it's gonna be incredible, for the talented up-and-coming fighters in Mexico and Puerto Rico, and then I'm gonna start picking off other parts of the world where we'll build performance institutes too. And here's the thing, if you look at football, like my kids played football, from a young age, they can get into flag football, then they get into Pop Warner or whatever you want to call it, and then they play high school football. The goal is always to get to high school, and then the kids that are good enough then go to college, and then the college kids, if they're good enough, they want to go to the NFL. There's never been anything like that for fighting. So what's starting to happen now is, and let's say you're in some country somewhere and you want to become a mixed martial artist. Well, first of all, you'd have to go find a jiu-jitsu coach, a striking coach, a wrestling coach, and it's very tough to do.
Right.
In these countries, as we continue to pop up these performance institutes, kids go there for free. You go there for free, you train for free, you get everything for free. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna start creating mixed martial artists in countries that it couldn't happen in before. And this doesn't just help the UFC. It helps every organization out there.
Yeah.
Because kids have to start out somewhere. So there's probably a local promotion out there that they would start training in and fighting in and work their way up and someday get to the UFC. But, opening these institutes, tide rises everywhere and it works for everybody, not just us. It helps the sport overall.
Absolutely, and new stars can emerge. And that's a topic that we hear a lot of people mention often. Well, old stars are retiring. There's gonna be no one that can fill the void of this former star.
You can't listen to any of these people. These people know nothing about this business. This sport is not even 20 years old yet. These guys don't even know what's going on. These guys have no clue what we're working on for the next 7 years. I mean, you never really know if somebody's gonna be a big star, but there's never a shortage of up-and-coming talent. I could go on for days, with up-and-coming people. Peter Yan, Sugar Sean O'Malley, who's been out for a while and been hurt, and I'm excited for him to get back. Ricky Simone. You got Kron Gracie, who just looked incredible on his debut on ESPN. Roosevelt Roberts from the Contender Series, who I'm super excited about. I love this kid's story. Jeff Neal. And Ben Askren just came in, a veteran who's been around for a long time,
sure,
but hasn't been in the UFC.
Right.
Coming off an incredible, controversial, fun fight in his first fight in the UFC against ruthless Robbie Lawler. You got Macy Barber coming up, who this girl I love the way she talks. When I say talks, I love the way she texts me and the crazy stuff she says to me. She wants to be a world champion. She plans, you know, I love these type of things and these type of people. Zabit, who just came off a big win, you know, as the main event. Israel Adesanya, who's going to fight for the interim title here soon. Marlon Moraes, and I could go on. I mean, I could go on for days and keep talking about up-and-coming talent that are either going to become big stars or become staples in the top 10, you know, in the sport, and fighters that people love to tune in and watch fight.
Dana, this year, there are some incredible fights happening, but there are also some names that keep being brought up by fans and maybe media members of, are we gonna see them in the octagon? So I'm gonna give you a couple of names. You tell me if you think you're gonna see them in the octagon in 2019.
I think I know the names you're gonna throw at me, but
okay.
Go ahead.
Well, let's start with Conor McGregor.
Okay.
Do you believe you see him
That's
fight
shocking.
this year?
I didn't think you were gonna say him. Yes, I think you will see Conor in the future. You know, Conor has, if you look at Conor from the day he set foot in this company, man, he's been an incredible businessman. What he's been able to accomplish. If he could stay out of trouble, that would be incredible. But you know, what this guy has accomplished in his fighting career and outside of the sport is remarkable, man. And as his wealth continues to grow, you know, I continue to question how much more he's gonna wanna fight. But one of the beautiful things about Conor, and I know everybody thinks I'm all over Conor and I pump Conor. You know why I do? Because he deserves it. This is a guy who came in and fought everybody, was willing to fight anybody when opponents would drop out, and fans know when somebody is a real fighter. And everything is a little shaken up right now in the division with him and Khabib getting into trouble, going through this stuff with the commission. And what's next? Who's out there to fight? Who's right for him? Who's the next fight? I think once this shakes out with Holloway and Poirier and Khabib is back, we can really start to we can figure out where Conor McGregor fits into this puzzle.
Okay, so let's move on to a former opponent of Conor's, Nate Diaz.
Yeah, listen, so people understand, right? If you're under contract with me, I owe you 3 fights a year, okay? If I don't get you 3 fights a year, let's say I only get you 1, I have to pay you for the other 2. If I get you 2, I gotta pay you for the other 1. I've never paid the Diaz brothers anything because we offer them fights and they don't accept them. If you do not accept, you can look at any fighter's contract, it's all the same. If you do not accept a fight, you can't hold me responsible for paying you, so we extend your contract. And that's what's happened. Listen, I'm ready for the Diaz brothers to fight whenever they are. So when they're ready, they know all they have to do, pick up the phone and call, and we'll get you a fight.
Okay, and one more name, Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar is, you know, he's doing his thing right now with the WWE. One of the things about Brock Lesnar is when that guy's ready to fight, he's not shy. He'll call me, he'll let me know. And to be honest with you, I'm hoping I'm gonna hear from that guy this summer.
Do you think that fight with Daniel Cormier comes to fruition?
I do. I think both guys really want it. I know Cormier wants it bad, and I know Brock wants it bad. So when 2 guys want to fight each other as bad as these 2 do, I think it's gonna happen.
Daniel Cormier had been saying for a long time he wanted to retire by the time he was 40 years old, which is rapidly approaching. And it seems like he's the only fighter you've tried to maybe talk out of retiring.
True.
And I'm sure there are times where you've wanted guys to hang up the gloves before they have. What do you expect for Daniel's next couple of fights? How long do you expect him to stay around the sport?
Yeah, I totally get it. I think it was more the people around Daniel Cormier that wanted him to retire than Daniel Cormier himself.
Interesting.
And I always say this, if you even think about retirement, you probably should. But the reality is, Cormier's on top of his game. He's the man, never been beat at heavyweight, you know, only beat by John Jones at light heavyweight. And I think that his people around him are looking at how much money this guy's making outside of the octagon, saying, you don't need to do this anymore. You know, he's done very, very well for himself and his family. And I love this guy, man. I love Cormier. I love everything about him. And I think he's got 3 fights left in him. I think that he wants the Lesnar fight. So you make the Stipe, you know, people want to see the rematch with Stipe. Stipe wants to see the rematch with Stipe. possibly John Jones again at either heavyweight or light heavyweight. So I think retirement for him is just probably a year premature. And we talked, and I think he agreed with me.
Is a move to heavyweight inevitable, you think, for John?
I would think so, that the move is inevitable, but you never know with John. So who knows? I would love to see him go to heavyweight. There's a lot of fun fights for him there, and obviously big for his legacy too. So we'll see.
Dana, as we wrap this up, there has been a lot of change for UFC fans over the past couple of years. The fights have remained the same, stellar product as always. But for those fans who maybe, are looking at these new changes with a little bit of concern or questioning, what would you tell them?
Why are you still questioning me? Why? Why are you still questioning me? I don't understand this. Yes. Every time we come out of it, and everybody thinks it's so easy. Why don't you guys do this and do that? Deals have to be cut. Things have to be, and it's a two-way street. It doesn't mean the network wants to do everything that we want to do. Now we're in a place, if you are a UFC fan, it's never been better. We're a one-stop shop on ESPN, right? And like I said, the value is going to be better for everything that you've been paying for the last almost 20 years. And now the next 7 years are going to be incredible for all of us. So there's never been a better time to be involved in this sport than right now.
Can you just not wait for your alarm to go off in the morning to get here to the office?
Seriously? Yes, I love it. And I am so excited about the future and all the things that we're gonna create over the next several years. And I can't tell you how much I look forward to it.
We look forward to it as well. Dana, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me today and kind of discuss all of these topics. It was like a State of the Union with the UFC president. I appreciate it. It's been a long time since we've done this. Hopefully this can be a more regular thing.
Thank you, Megan. Appreciate it.